October 28th, when that letter dropped, it was just, to me, totally unmerited. And some of you might remember that on the Sunday before the election, Comey put out a like 2-sentence email saying, "Just kidding, nothing there." There were so many, if they thought something was there, and I've never personally been convinced that they did. I think he was under pressure from certain elements of active and retired FBI agents. I think Rudy Giuliani played a role because Rudy Giuliani 2 days before October 28th said a big surprise is coming on October 28th. So this to me was a very clear plan. How witting Comey himself was or not, I don't know. But the impact was the same. So for example, let's take one state, Pennsylvania. If you're a Democrat running for president, you know you have to get a really big vote out of Philadelphia. You've got to get a good vote out of the Philadelphia suburbs. You've got to try to win Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. And you've got to try to win Northeast, Scranton, and Wilkes-Barre. So before October 28th, I was ahead in the Philadelphia suburbs by 26 points. After the Comey letter, my numbers began to drop. And what happened is that mostly women, Republican women, women who had decided, well, they were going to vote for me because of the debates. They were not scared off by all of the talk about lock her up and all of that stuff. So I ended up getting a very big vote out of Philadelphia. I won Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. I squeaked a win out in Northeast. But in the suburbs of Philadelphia, my lead before Comey was cut to 13 points. And I needed just a few more points in order to withstand what we knew would be a big Republican turnout in the rest of the state. So I knew that was the principal factor, but I want to add something because I don't know if any of you saw Diane yesterday at the Intelligence Committee, but she was amazing. And we have got to get to the bottom of what happened, because let me draw your attention to a different day in October, October 7th, a very eventful day in the campaign. In the morning, the Director of National Intelligence, Jim Clapper, the Secretary of Homeland Security, came out and publicly said the Russians were behind the hacking of the DNC emails. They are interfering in our election. That's a huge story, okay? A few hours later, the Hollywood Access tape comes out. Forget about Jim Clapper and Jay Johnson. All of a sudden, we've got, the candidate, in his own words, basically confessing to be a sexual assaulter. Within 1 hour of that tape, WikiLeaks started dropping John Podesta's emails. Within 1 hour. Now, for about 48, 72 hours, the Hollywood Access tape was the story. Nothing about the Russians, just that. And then, though, what our research showed as I was writing the book is that the weaponization of WikiLeaks, turning it into fake news stories, taking comments out of emails like "I'm going out for pizza" and claiming that was code for a child trafficking ring in a pizza parlor here in Washington, which people believed. You can laugh because it's so absurd. They believed it. So what we did was to track Google and the stories that people were looking for. And they were out of this whole trove of stolen emails that were weaponized to persuade people not to vote for me, not to vote at all, or to vote for third party. So this is a much more complicated story. I believe without the Comey letter, I would have won. But I think the other stuff in the atmosphere was also affecting people. And then voter suppression. We now know 200 to 300,000 people were turned away from the polls in Wisconsin alone. So there's a lot going on here, and part of the reason I wrote the book, and for all of you who are interested in these issues, I hope you'll read it, because it's not just about what happened, it's about what will keep happening if we don't figure out how to stop it.
How did you feel when the president claimed he fired Comey because of how he handled the email investigation?
Well, this is one of the, craziest things about the last year. I have a whole chapter in the book called Those Damn Emails. And all the people who thought it was the most important issue since, I don't know what, Pearl Harbor. It felt like on some days, 600 days of coverage of this. Not one person has said there's anything inaccurate in everything I wrote in that chapter. And one of the things that I wrote in that chapter was keep these two thoughts in your head at once. Comey did mishandle the email issue. He broke protocol.
We will make America great again.